What up, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Live number 117. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Gonna have a chill one tonight. Just practicing this week's Sig Sling and Sunday signature. What up, Oja Swammy? I was doing what I've been doing recently. Sorry, ending the screen. I've been doing. Most of my practice has been on quotes and longer form writing and whatnot, because that's something I need to work on, so I haven't been doing a ton of signature writing practice lately. What up, Lurker James? Good evening. So yeah, tonight we are doing... We're going to try... I've done this signature before, but it's been a long time. What up, Eric? I've done this signature before, but it's been a long time, and I don't know that I've ever executed it, like, as good as I would actually like to. So, today... Well, I don't know if I'll get a good one tonight, but we're gonna actually go through the motions and learn all the steps, because, as I've mentioned before in previous signature writing challenges and whatnot, you don't just look at this and then try to do it. At least I personally don't. I take it in steps, working letter by letter, stroke by stroke, until eventually you build so your movement can go through the entire thing. Yeah, so we're gonna get this party started. What's everybody up to tonight? We didn't do a late night live last week, so I haven't seen many of you in a while. Last week was fun though. I quite enjoyed editing those files last week. My Inkster is going banana pants today. I don't know why. I need to go, as soon as I get some time, to an electronics store and purchase a resistor or something to put between the motor and the speed controller, because I want to slow it down. At its slowest setting, it is too fast, and I need to slow it down. I got some new better magnets for it. But the better magnet has less friction, so it spins faster, and it spins too fast. The magnet gets going, and it just loses control, so I need to slow the motor down a whole lot. You are not the first person to say basically that same thing, Eric. My plan, and it always has been my plan, I do want to make them, not like a ton of them, but I do want to make them for people because I like them. But as I've said, this one is flawed. I don't want to make somebody something that is flawed. What's going on, Ski? Nice to see you. Like, I don't want to sell or even give somebody something that is like a flawed piece of equipment or a flawed tool. So I am hoping to iron out the issues, and then I will make them. Also want to look into the next sort of iteration, the next version that I make. I want to see how hard it is to make it like USB, either micro USB or in a perfect world USB-C powered. I don't know if that's hard, but I feel like it shouldn't be that hard. What up, Diego? Oh, Diego's here. That means I have to go to my left hand. And we're gonna do Canan signature with my left. Ooh, not gonna happen. What up, Olivia? Welcome. But yeah, I feel like as far as electronic wise, USB-C will take up less room. So the little like holes or whatever that I have to carve will take up less space, which is great. But step number one, because I still want to use this, I like having the speed control, it's on the cable, it's not on the device itself, which I really like, because it enables me to have the device itself be really small. But the speed control that I have just spins too fast, and I haven't been able to figure out how to slow it down yet. So I have found an electronics shop in Vancouver that I'm gonna go to, and maybe they can give me some advice, or I've spoken with a friend of mine who's electronically inclined, who has also, we sort of have talked through a couple of potential ideas. So I'm going to the electronic shop with some ideas in mind. What up, Jay? Nice to see you. What's everybody up to this evening? A lot of people on the Discord lately talking about the IAMPIT certificate program. Who in the chat is trying out for a certificate this year? Anybody? I know a few people on the Discord are thinking about doing the business penmanship one. I know there was talk about ornamental penmanship. I know a few people are practicing their engrosser script for one. I'm curious. Which direction? This direction we were going. Oh, I should mention tonight I am using a brand new Leonard Principle, not sharpened. This is the first time in a long time I've written with a not sharpened nib, because I may be a little rusty in the signature writing thing, doing something as big as Canan's signature, so I didn't want to have a nib that was too crazy sharp. So this is a stock, out of the box, I guess, a Leonard Principle nib. I did not sharpen, but I did give it a really quick burnish with my micro mesh, which really doesn't change anything, it just smooths it out a little bit. What up, Ajit? Won't be possible to submit by October. That's no fun. Why not? Too busy? I'm actually kind of worried about this year. I have a busy couple months coming up, so to do the certificates that I want to do will require some time. So I don't know, hopefully I can at least get one of the ones I want to do done, but I know the illumination one is going to take a substantial amount of time and effort. Not that they don't all take a lot of time and effort, but that one is going to take me for sure long. So I think I might do Old English first and then do illumination second. Maybe? I don't know. I think, Jay, I think the faux submit is a great plan. Because the cool thing, what you might find if you faux create the specimens, you might find that they're good. Or if you send them to somebody like me or somebody else who's got an eye in the Spencerian or whatever genre you're thinking of doing, if they think they look good, then you might as well submit them. But also, it's just a good, it's a good prompt for practice as well. I don't know why I'm doing capital I's. There are no I's in this signature today. Ah, hosting a guest from Europe. Got you, so you're busy. Hello, Miss Marilyn. Yeah, I think like faux submitting, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great way to practice. If you want like is the music loud today? I can turn it down. That is possible. You don't like my music? Is that what you're telling me, Marilyn? Is that better? You guys let me know how the music is. One of the hardest parts about today's signatures, I'm going to be making it relatively big, keeping enough ink in my nib to get through all three of those C's. Alright, is our arm warmed up-ish? These are some mighty fine hairlines. From this stock nib. I don't think this one was sharpened. Pretty sure it's not sharpened. But that hairline is very, very fine. Gotta love a good hair. Yeah, all my nibs are old. This nib has got to be at least, I don't know. Bailey's not here, nor is Marcus, so they're the only ones that would remember when when we ordered these nibs. But it was at least 4 years ago, I think, when I ordered a whole plethora. Oh, it feels good to move in shade. I've been living in the broad pen world the past little bit, prepping for a class that I have coming up. And so yeah, I haven't been dipping or shading or hairlining for quite a while. Feels good. Okay, shall we get into it? Step number 1. Now just looking at this signature already, I know that first hurdle that I know I'm gonna have just in my own personal self, and I feel like a lot of people would have the same issue as we're coming around here. Notice how with this first oval, notice how far to the right this capital C is. Like how close it is to here. Like not super, super close, but on average, you would think if we do our entry oval, I feel like I would come down like right in this area would be more habitual for me, I think. But there's a lot of oval on the right-hand side, so I gotta make sure I go far over here to get that first shade. And then the first actual big hurdle is getting this shade short, and then not finishing in a standard exit oval, but going all the way around into our second oval. And then ideally crossing, I feel like I would love that to be crossed right in the middle. If I were CC Canan, I would want it to either be exactly like this one, where they're all in the same spot, or in the middle there would be cool as well. But because this is the signature we're replicating, we're gonna try to do it right there. Let's see how it works. But try to get that C, and then coming out of the C into a really big oval. Now I'm probably not going to be doing the signature quite this big, because that's a lot of movement, but I'm going to do my practice movement with a pencil. Running out of lead. Right on this piece of paper. I dropped my pencil the other day, so hopefully all my leads in here didn't break. It's the one issue with using 0.3 millimeter mechanical pencils, is they are relatively easy to break. Ooh, because this oval's so big, I can already feel that what's doing an angled oval is going to want to come out of my hand. So pushing that to be first circular, but horizontal if it is any oval, so it doesn't go super like this, because I feel like that is more natural for me movement-wise for some reason. Okay, that's what we're worried about so far. Just there, into that one. Not concerned with that second shade yet. Dropping down here a lot. Why? Hello, Xenia. Welcome, welcome. There we go. Haha, I ripped in my page. I put pressure as if I was doing a shade. Okay. Give that a shot with ink. Now, because I am writing in black paper, I should have probably used lined white paper today. But because my hairlines always seem invisible, I'm going to be using a pencil line. Because signature work without a pencil line is tough. But I'm going for accuracy. I want to have my baseline there. Oh, go all the way around. Don't stop. Hello, Fozzie. You did indeed. Fozzie, you did a live video today. I was not on Instagram, but I got a notification saying you were doing a live video. What did you do live today? 4 in the morning. Yikes. It's also not the right C. Come on, brain. Turn on. Getting this weird, it's happened on both of my examples so far, this weird shape right here. Starting my original when I drop down into that horizontal oval. Okay, so first thing to notice, this has to drop down lower, so I have more of a curve into that. Okay, that's doable. That's a bad habit of mine in general. When I come over here, this has to then cut right there. To the very bottom of that shade. Okay. Ah. Envelope live, that's fun. Because you need coworkers. What does that mean? Somebody to keep you company? Your IAG is not letting you know, just when my IAG told me. I did not open Instagram, but it told me. Ah, that makes sense, Fuzzy. Okay, closer to the baseline. What is happening here? So, oh, I think what I said was an issue in the very beginning, I think is an opposite. I think I said it backwards. Now that I think about it. Wait, if I do a capital C. Yeah, okay. Curious. Here. I'm going way too far this way. Like, I need this line to be in through here way more. In through the center of the C. Which I am not doing. I've been pushing that too far. Good to know. Okay, not bad. Still too high. I would prefer if all those crosses were there, but the crosses are in the right spots. It just needs to come down here. Wow. What's happening to the nibs just getting misaligned? How are they getting wrecked? Is the paper like wearing them down? Or are they just getting misaligned so they're choppy? Or uncomfortable? Maybe I might stop lining the thing until I get a little bit farther along the signature. To the point where it feels a little bit better. So I'm taking this line too far. Okay. Very not scientific. Okay, we crossed on the outside instead of the inside, but shape of everything is relatively decent. So we're gonna start looking at this second one then, and we'll improve that as we go. So I come up. This is another one. This is all three of the shades on this signature are so short. Each one is basically at a hairline by the time this hairline crosses, which is like higher than the shade ends on the halfway point, crosses hardly through a shade at all. So those shades, I just got to do a few Canan C's for a second, get in the habit of doing that shape. It's easier said than done. Oh, so it's sanding down the nibs. Interesting. They're all gonna bring their invites. Go, oh, your invite looks different than mine. Fozzie, why is that invite different than mine? Sometimes gotta use textured paper, unfortunately. Lurker James, if you're still here, have you written me back yet? I wrote James a letter. So now James owes me a letter. Woohoo! And I know he got it because he sent me a picture of it. I don't know if he opened it, but he got it. I assume he opened it. Alright, Canan C. Okay, this has to go lower. It's really, I don't mind this whole C except for the point from there to there. Which you guys have heard me talk about on this stream before. Is that a yes, Lurker James? I think those emojis are saying, yep, it's on its way. That's how I read them anyways. See, I need to cut it off even sooner. That's the idea. Super quick shade. Ugly shape, but yes, I am using St. Petersburg Masterclass Gouache. I love that Kahlo posted that question today, or yesterday, on Instagram, and basically everybody's response has been St. Petersburg Masterclass Gouache, which is awesome. We got Mohamed to thank for letting us know about that one. I don't know, I think Kahlo just posted her most recent story that I saw anyways, had somebody who had the hookup to buy it. Or if Eric is still here, he's purchased it. I don't know where he got it. There used to be, I've said this in the Discord before, I don't know if I ever mentioned it on a stream. So there was a company in Vancouver, an art shop that sold Russian art supplies that was literally like a maybe 15-minute drive from me, but they no longer have the location, the Western Canada location. But I had found a place and I was stoked because they were local and they sold the gouache that I wanted. Nice. It's never bad to have too much of something that doesn't go bad. Yo, what up, Peter? Welcome. That's the idea. Okay, that's the kind of sea we want. Acrylic. Oof. I mean, I guess that lasts better, right? Hello, the Yolk Saren. Have I drawn the whole thing in pencil and then executed it? I have not. I have written the whole thing in pencil, and I go over the things in pencil on the page, but I personally, if you're trying to execute a signature or something with movement, with rapid movement behind it, yes, you could pencil in, but I personally recommend not doing that. And the reason is, anytime you pencil something, when you're going to be using rapid movement, it's really, really, really hard for your brain to not want to exactly follow that pencil line, which forces you to slow down. It forces you to try to control it. You're not relying on the movement and training the muscles. You're relying on, you're not really relying on anything. You're trying to control it, and you're relying on your ability to trace. And it's impossible to trace. Well, I won't say impossible. Somebody may be able to do it. But I personally feel like it's way harder to trace fast. And it's in the interest of time. I don't really think there's a benefit to taking the time to accurately pencil something in before you try to write it with rapid movement, because if you don't train the movement segments, then you're going to be just as off with the pencil as without the pencil. And the one thing with like ornamental penmanship and whatnot that we teach is that you want to have essentially the perfect image in your mind. You don't want to be relying on following something. Like I said, you can have something to follow, but if you're following it, then you're not relying on you actually knowing the shapes you're trying to create. And that's what we're trying to do, because once you know the shapes, then you can create them at speed. And that's when, in my personal opinion, they look their best. If you are just trying to execute, or if you're trying to execute the signature and you're not worried about doing it in rapid motion, then yes, definitely you could pencil it and trace it. That's how I would do a lot of my signature, or it's similar to the foiling that I do. But since we're trying to do this one with movement, I personally would not take the time to pencil it in. Unless I was trying to understand the signature more, I would be tracing it not with the mindset of, I would be drawing it not with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to draw this so that I can trace it later. I'm doing this to make sure that the image I have in my brain is as close as possible to the signature that I'm trying to create. So then, you can just see that in the screen. So then you can see, like, you drew it, but the drawing is sort of a test to make sure, like, are your forms the way they are? Is your angle pretty good? Are you hitting this inside? Is this all crossing at the same point? Is this equidistant between this little oval? And things like that. So that was actually a really good test for me to make sure I know internally what the signature looks like. Is you draw it. And if you can draw it, then drawing it again, I don't really think serves, because you can draw it. So now we can draw it, which means this tells me that if I dipped my nib and tried to and wrote it slowly, I could do a really good looking replication of this without rapid movement, and the shape would be good because I've proved that I know the shape in my mind. But the hairline and fluidity is super important to me, so once I have accomplished this, we move on. Oh, well, like drawing it separately, and yes, definitely. That's sort of, I guess I don't really, the way I analyze signatures is less drawing them multiple times and more so what you see me do here, discussing sort of everything, taking mental notes of all the pieces and things. Keep in mind, this is it's a famous signature, so I've seen this signature since essentially I started with ornamental penmanship. So it's, as far as this part's not as familiar to me, the exit stroke, but the way he did his C's and all this opening bit is quite rather fixed in my mind, I would say. But yeah, I like to analyze, create the image sort of visually, and then try to draw it like I did here. But now with execution, this wouldn't help me with actually writing it. I wish it would, because that would make life easier. Hello, Jagrudy. Welcome, welcome. See, I can personally already feel, just going, I know this wasn't exactly what you were asking, but going back to what I said at the very beginning of that question, even having this here, I feel my movement being restricted already because my brain wants to follow that line. And when I want to follow a line, my movement is going to be... Is truncated the right word? I don't know. Too small on the exit oval over here. It's the St. Petersburg Masterclass Gouache. Here, let me grab it. It's in a drawer. If I can find it. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Where is it? Okay, I don't have it. I have this though. This is not the white, obviously. This is St. Petersburg Masterclass Gouache. This is the turquoise blue. The titanium white is what I use. Yeah, titanium white, not turquoise blue. I have mixed with turquoise blue, and it works really well. Mamed, who's the reason we any of us, I feel like, know that this exists. He has mixed many of the colors to great effect. I primarily use the white, though. Oh, right on. Thanks a lot, Georgette. Look at that. Georgette's lurking and comes out of the lurk mode to post a link. Very helpful. I didn't see where you posted the link, Georgette. Oh, did that get like auto-moderated? So Georgette, if you posted the link, I don't see it in the chat, but I also didn't get like a moderation note telling me that something was gone. So if you posted the link, maybe it wasn't actually posted. Can't post links in YouTube chat. There we go. Yeah, the shape of Canan's work is, I think, the hardest thing about his signatures. A lot of them are very clean. I also believe a lot of them were done much larger and shrunk down, the ones that we see in books and stuff, but it's not a lot of ovals, it's a lot of circles. Everything is very circular in comparison to the majority of the ornamental penmanship that we study. Hello, Shap. Welcome, welcome. Ooh, Diego, what's my ideal late night snack? So, these days, popcorn is my ideal late night snack. That's normally what I munch on. Is just I make a bowl of popcorn. I don't use butter. I use it with I use coconut oil to make it, and if I put in a little bit extra coconut oil, that sort of takes the place of wanting butter in the end. So I just put coconut oil when I make it, and then salt, and that's it. Now, if I want that, that's probably not my favorite, but that's my go-to snack because it's relatively not super healthy. Of course I use chopsticks when I eat popcorn. I don't like to eat popcorn without chopsticks. That's a mandatory step in the process. But I really like jalapeno chips. I like kettle cooked jalapeno chips. Not super brand specific, but one of like the Miss Vicky's or something. But I love jalapeno chips, not jalapeno cheddar, just jalapeno. And then also cookies. I know that's not like a, you don't just like keep munching on cookies. I have a cookie issue. I'm not allowed to purchase cookies because it's a legitimate, it's a problem. If I buy cookies within like an hour, the box will be empty. It's an issue. But I love cookies, so cookies are probably my favorite snack ever. Oh, and then also, I'm thinking, boss, you got me thinking of food, Diego. Now I have them in writing. I'm just talking about food. So, O. Henry, I don't think is a thing in the US. Is O. Henry a thing? Or is it Mr. Big that's not a thing? Anyways, O. Henry, whether that's a thing in the States or not, I can't remember. Chocolate bar, O. Henry, and Reese's have like done a collaboration. And so it's a peanut butter O. Henry. So it's essentially caramel, peanuts, and peanut butter. And it is absolutely delicious. And unfortunately, the convenience store down the street from my house, which I don't usually allow myself to go into, but when I do go in there, they sell them. Currently, they sell the king-size ones for like $3 for a cheap deal. So it's dangerous. I have to make myself not go into the convenience store because I will buy them. But you guys don't know O. Henry. Remind me about that, because next year at IAMPITH, or next IAMPITH I go to, or next time I'm in the States, I'm gonna bring down some O. Henry, and specifically Reese's O. Henry, because they're amazing. I'm trying to think of an equivalent American chocolate bar that's like an O. Henry. Americans missing out. That's weird that there's just not a whole chocolate bar that's not there. It's bizarre. Hello. Okay, so Peter had them, alright. Wait, I'm missing this whole conversation about the Masterclass gouache. The bottle online doesn't say what shade of white. It's just white bottles. Yeah, there are different kinds of white. You definitely want specifically titanium white. I want to see what my bottle looks like. I feel like I must have been using it, and it's not. Did I not put it away properly? Where is it? Oh. It was tucked in a corner, but it was the first thing in the drawer. Oh my goodness. So, focus. So I'm assuming that says titanium white. Because that's what you want. Titanium white. Tinen Weiss. Blanc de Titan. Blanco Titano. Yeah, that's the one you want. Take a snapshot of that. Master's White Knights. Yeah, that's not what you want. St. Petersburg Masterclass 1934. Yes, James, they said hello, but they deleted their message. Who is that? I don't know who is that? Am I supposed to know who that is? Am I being a bad person now for not knowing? Oh, hey Cheryl, how's it going? Thank you for not just disappearing. I'm gonna do some research because there is that Canadian company that sells it. They're not based locally here, but I'm gonna see if I can find them because it's a specific North American company that sells it. And I think they sell out of Eastern Canada, maybe in Quebec, but don't quote me on that. But I'll see if I can find them when we're done with this live. And then I'll post it in the Discord, whatever information I find. Oh, I did a compound curve again. I gotta make this a little bit smaller and also lock my focus. A little bit smaller, I think. Okay. That's decent. Peter did his first post in the Discord. I didn't notice. I gotta load the Discord and see Peter's post in the Discord. Whoa! So I loaded my Instagram, and here's Lurker Leon golfing is the first post that came up on my Instagram. So I don't know if you're here or not, Leon, but shout out to golfer Lurker Leon. Now I will go to Discord. Ooh. That was your great-grandmother's? Dope. So it's in your blood. Or was that her writing? Or was it her book? That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you're here to catch the live thing, Cheryl. Ruzart. Okay, maybe that's where, maybe that was, is that a Canadian company? I hunted pretty hard for it for a little. That's them, okay. So if they don't have it anymore, that's a bummer. Have we, maybe we need to reach out to them and let them know that we're interested in it? And maybe they can put together a group buy, since it seems like the penmanship / calligraphy world is interested in having access to St. Petersburg Masterclass Gouache. For anybody who can't find it, there is nothing wrong with McCaffrey's Ivory or Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Bleed Proof White is great. It was my favorite white before I discovered this white, and they're not super different. I haven't actually tried the Doc Martin mix. I know some people mix Masterclass with PH Martins. I haven't tried that yet, personally. Whoa, my ending oval got all sorts of crazy. Oh, that was somebody else. All right, Peter, that's still cool. He's not imaginary. He golfs. I don't know why that doesn't make him imaginary, but Leon did not come to Iampit this past year, so I did not get to see him in person this year. You sent me a photo. I'm spending more time on my phone this stream than I am actually writing. Oh, yeah, that's it, Fuzzy, isn't it? I mean, the photo you sent is out of focus. I know you didn't take it, but wait, let me look at my bottle. I will compare the symbols. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's the same. It's the same, it's the different size bottle. That's the smaller, I think it's the smaller bottle. But those symbols are the same. Yeah, Series 1. That's what I have. You're gonna buy them out? Maybe we have to reach out to the, St. Petersburg people. Get it from the source. I've wondered about that with the straight line on the bottom of his signature. Because, like, for signature work, I'm so against the idea of, I don't want to use a ruler. Because there's a part of me that genuinely believes if I just do this, that's a straight line. It's not perfectly straight, but whoops, I messed that up at the end. But I would just make the lines. Personally, I wouldn't, I don't want to use the ruler. I could use a ruler, I guess, but I don't want to use a ruler when I'm doing the signature. Alright. Having a chatty day today. I apologize if you came here to see signature writing and not Chatty Mike. Sorry to disappoint. That's a lot easier than using the ruler. Ah, you're very welcome. Those are, yeah, A and B will be done eventually. I will be editing them, and like what I did last Tuesday, when I edit them, I'm gonna do it in the Discord, like I did last week, because it's fun having people to talk to while I do that, because it is quite boring, monotonous work. But yeah, A and B will be coming, as well the scrapbooks from Scranton will be coming, and then I can't share, but eventually the Iampith scrapbooks that we digitized will also be available through Iampith. Eventually. Oh, for some reason I wanted to come like through here. So a tricky part is making sure that doesn't go so low. I'm bringing this too horizontal, or too ovoid. I gotta get my round. And the last one's relatively easy. The only tricky part for me a lot of the times is keeping these two ovals are often the same, but I end up making this last one smaller for some reason. So I gotta make sure that I keep dropping it as low. For the scrapbooks that were in the New York Public Library, like, so the ones that are on my website, they're technically not scanned, they're photos. So I just take pictures with the same camera, my A6400 Sony camera. None of the digitizing I've done is with a flatbed. It's all with photos. It's photo scanned. I think that's acceptable, Fozzie. And then it'll take a long time to go through it. You can always sell it or part it out. Where it will be after Iampith? Has Kristen announced that yet? My memory is really good, so I don't remember. Next year is San Antonio, but the year after that, I don't remember. For anybody, I don't know if the link is still active, but Gray did post on the Discord last week some links to some scrapbooks that he took photos of in Scranton, and I think primarily in Scranton, but the scrapbooks that he had access to. And there was a couple that weren't out the day I went to the Weinberg Library, like an FL Tower scrapbook that he has pictures of that I didn't get an opportunity to take photos of, so he posted those links, I believe, in the lobby of the Discord. So looking at you, Lurker James, if you're wanting those. I know you're not on the Discord a lot, so dive in there. Virginia. Yeah, I don't know if it's been like... Is it on the website? I didn't know that. I know none of the info. Yeah, I think some presidents are secretive with it. Some just let them know when they book the hotels and stuff. We gotta take this opening oval higher, I think. Hmm. Which part of it? Specifically this oval or the compound curve, Fozzie? I think ergonomic holders are really great if you like them. Personally, and this is nothing against ergonomic holders, I just will say that personally, I prefer just a round grip holder myself. I have some ergonomic holders that I really like and they're comfortable, but I just always seem to be going back to the round ones. When it comes to holders in general, whatever's most comfortable for your hand. The only thing I would be cautious of with an ergonomic holder is that the way it's sitting in your hand, you want to make sure that either with the flange manipulation or with your grip, you want to make sure that it's not forcing your hand in a direction or a way that you don't want it to. Most don't, but it's just something you have to be aware of. Because unlike a round holder where I can sort of have freedom to change things, an ergonomic holder is going to force me to hold in a specific way. So if that way happens to be, like I know there are some ergonomic holders that are sort of set up where if I hold them properly, my hand is going to want to do a more modern grip that I would use for like engrosser script or something slow versus a traditional grip. So you just want to make sure that you're aware of that. I agree with what Eric just said. The natural grip holder is a great holder. I have one of the vintage ones, and I think they're awesome. I know Colby Klein recently has been making some modified natural grip holders. He's been making replicas of the natural grip. He got one of the ones from Chris Yoke, and he's been making replicas of those, but modifying them slightly, which I haven't... Wait, I did hold one. I held one at convention, and it felt really, really great. Was that yours, Eric? I can't remember. Or was that not one of Colby's? Was it just one of the printed ones from Yoke? But I definitely would recommend trying the Yoke ones, because the cool thing about the Yoke ones, they're not crazy expensive because they're printed. They're exact replicas, which is great. Yeah, definitely recommend giving it a shot. And then you want to get one made, Chris or Colby, they do awesome work, all of them. I like the experimentation that Colby's doing lately. I think it's really dope. Yeah, I'm meaning to get one of a natural grip, a modern natural grip, and the Ransomarian, the triangle holder, is also interesting to me, just for something to play with. Yeah, that one night we were in the little round table area, going back and forth between, I think there was 2 3D printed ones and then the wood ones that we were... I wish I had mine at that same table so we could also compare a vintage one in with those ones. Because I have the brother of the vintage one that Chris Yoke made his models of. They came from the same collection. Mine has a broken tail though, so it's shorter. See? Every time. Smaller on this oval, but not too bad. Yeah, if you're doing lots of like pen manipulation and things like that, then I think round is is usually the better route to go. I know Michael Saul was the first one who introduced me to the idea of what he called a comfort holder. So it wasn't an oblique holder, but it also wasn't a perfectly round holder. It was a holder just like this. It was a round holder, but he would in the places where his fingers made contact, he would do little sort of indents, like a flat spot here, an indent for the thumb, a flat spot down here. So the pen is specifically sort of modified to your grip, so it just fits a little more comfortably. And he called it a comfort holder. I have done a few of those myself, and I really like them. One sort of instance where they can be really, or where doing that can be a good idea if you have a holder that's, say, a little bit too big. Like, I like quite small holders, but if I have a holder that's slightly too big, you can sort of just do those little indents. If I did those indents on this one, I feel like it would then feel a little too thin, because this one is quite small. But I have some larger ones that they have a little excess material that they could afford to lose some in certain contact points to make it feel comfortable. Wait, let me grab one actually. Where's one of my comfort holders? Where is it? What? Why are my holders not where they belong? 2 seconds. Now we have to get to the bottom of this mystery. Is it in here? This is a drawer O holders, but it's not in here. It's where I have like my driftwood holder. I love this holder. It's driftwood from Geneva on the Lake, where Spencer was from. But it's not in there. Where the heck is the holder I'm looking for? Isn't it here? It's supposed to be in this glass jar, and it's not. What? Where else would it be? I don't use it. I'm confused. I must have used it for a... Oh, it might be in... Sorry, foxes. Move my foxes really quick. Alright, I'm easily distracted today. I hope that's okay with everybody. I'm having a fun time, but I'm doing a lot of not writing today. Good night, Diego. Sweet dreams. Oh, Diego didn't tell us his go-to late night snack. Is it in here? I forgot. I was doing live calligraphy at a hip-hop show not long ago. I might have put it in here. Yeah, so it's in here. So this is my queso fountain pens. This one. So this one has a little nib carved into the end. But it's... See, it's based off of a round holder, but there's a little indent here, a little angled indent here, and then a little tiny one down at the bottom. So my fingers just fit oh so smoothly in them, and you can hardly see them. It's just a little indent where my thumb goes. Oh, did I say fountain pens? Yeah, I definitely meant dip pens. Yeah, so that's an idea of a comfort holder. Forgot these ones were in here. Look at my wings are all getting tarnished. The Harry Potter wings. The gold is still gold, but the wings they used to be silver. But now they're tarnished. I have to polish them. Sweet. And the tail of my knot holder. I have to make another one of these. My broken one. Sad day when that happened. Anyways, no more distractions. I could do a whole Quidditch set. Do the quaffle, do the bludgers, and then do the snitch. I could do the snitch again, I guess. I already did one. I have I have plenty. The answer to that is always true, Eric. Because what do I need? One. I only use really one pen at a time. I have many pens that I really like. But I only ever use one. Right now, it happens to be the Kraken holder, or my little octopus holder. But I have many. And I have many more that I want to make. I think the next one, well, yeah, I won't get into it. I talk too much about things I want to do and don't actually get around to doing, but I have a bunch of holders that I want to make. Just to make them, basically. Peanut butter and strawberry jelly sandwich. That's pretty yummy. I personally am a raspberry person myself, of the jam varieties. Okay, wow. Gray Shade Society. Now, Canan's lowercase are super cramped. In this specific example, they're tall and cramped. And then he has this crazy exit stroke. Nimbus would be cool. I guess that wouldn't be... Which end? Whoa! Dizzy Bunny! Hey, that's fun. That's the Yogg Sarin. Welcome to YouTube, or to the YouTube channel. We haven't seen a Dizzy Bunny in a long time. What was I saying? Would it be the bristles? Or the part that says Nimbus 2000 here? Do we do a Nimbus or the Firebolt? I mean, the Nimbus got destroyed by the Whomping Willow. The Firebolt is the better broom of his. Oh, my line was not very straight. This part is less exciting to me because it can just be drawn in afterwards. But okay, it's our first time today doing that whole signature. Now I wonder if when he was going, like these little tight little curls here, I wonder if as he was coming out of this, I dropped down too low there, but as he was coming out, if he actually did that little extra curve in at the end. Feels really weird for me to cut off that line. It's straight, it's just down. It needs to be right there. It goes in the angles off. But if you go quick, straight lines are easy to do if you go fast, I think. The impossibly horizontal exit stroke. Yes, we can talk about the impossible exit stroke. Well, you can't say that Bleed Proof White is more opaque because it's all in the mix. You can add... I need to add more gouache to this right before the stream. because I don't know if you were here at the beginning when I was talking about how my ink stirrer is temperamental. It spins too fast, so when my ink level goes down, it spits ink everywhere and gets little white dots all over my desk or all around it, because it just spins too fast. So it has to be kept full. So right before the stream, I added about 1/4 inch to 1 millimeter of water to it. So it is quite thinned down now. But this is also, it's thin on this C because I did 3 shades in 1 dip, but this is a watery mix, but I'm not super worried about it at the moment. Just like bleed proof white, you mix it so it's as dark as opaque white as you want it to be, technically. What up, David? How are you this evening? Great. I mean, I'm a fan of the Gray Shade Society. We all know that. Oh, I ran out of movement when I got to about here. My forearm couldn't stretch anymore. Damn. It's always a shame when that happens. Do you use a kneadable eraser for that, Fozzie, or a regular white eraser? Or are they black envelopes? Do you use a black eraser? Blackwing? I need a stretchier forearm. Ugh. I lose movement at the end. I mean, that makes sense when you're doing a whole job. That definitely makes sense. Oops, did my lowercase too big. Alright, so Eric wanted to talk about this impossibly horizontal exit stroke. It's quite possible and almost likely that Canan did it afterwards, that he tipped that shade in, made it bigger. Maybe. It hardly compounds at all. It's almost a perfectly straight horizontal line. Which feels really weird to do, to just go straight, but I'm gonna try. I mean, that's not good, but if that was squished more and the ovals before and after it weren't garbage, that's the idea. I'm gonna try just that stroke a couple times. The one Blozer, in Blozer's signature, that's the one horizontal shade that throws me for a loop. It's crazy to me how he does the shade, because it like goes up almost. But it's like this one, it's almost horizontal, but it's such a huge shade. He definitely could have turned the paper. I wonder though, like the reason I'm so, I don't want to say against turning the paper, but I don't like turning the paper specifically because, like, yes, Canan's forms are more round than they are, but they still are ovals. They're not perfectly round. So if he turns the paper, like we're so trained to do horizontal ovals and angled ovals at like those two specific orientations, that if I turn my page, like say if I turn my page like this so that I can pull that shade a little bit easier, now my horizontal oval is in this weird like I can do it, but it's in this weird like push-pull. It doesn't feel right. And the angled oval is even weird. I mean, he's not doing an angled oval in his flourish, but that feels like a very foreign movement to me, which is why I like to keep my paper at whatever angle I trained my my hand to do that stroke. Now, if it was, or to do that oval, if it was just a stroke, like for example, like in like an ornamental flourish or something, like in a bird, if it's just a stroke like this that's going out, you can turn the page to where that's comfortable, I feel like, because there's no oval that has to go with it, like versus in a signature, you have to have like the horizontal oval here, the horizontal oval here, and the horizontal oval here in order for that signature to look right. So if I was just doing this stroke, like if it was just a then yeah, I could turn the paper and do that and pull that compound curve stroke just to get, if it was a standalone, just a flourish or just a simple stroke. But because there's the oval that comes before it and the oval that comes after it, if I tried to do that with my paper turned, it's definitely possible, and I guarantee there are penmen back in the day and penmen today that would do it that way. But for me, this part, like this part and this part, feel incredibly awkward. Am I wrong in that I don't want to turn my paper? Maybe. Maybe I'm just being stubborn and it would be easier that way, but that movement feels weird to me. So then if I do a whole signature this way, and then turn my paper to do the last one, if I turn my paper back, there's a good chance that these ovals won't match these ovals. They will look like they were done either at a different angle, or just the feeling won't look the same. It won't be a whole sort of, harmonious is the wrong word, but just a cohesive design. You could definitely do each C separately. The issue with the C's is there's no stopping points. There's no hard stops, except for in the first one. Like the only hard stop in the whole beginning of this signature is, and again, he could have done it in segments. I just personally don't believe he did, because like the first hard stop, he could have done that, lifted, came over here, but then there's no really good place to stop. Potentially after one of the shades, and then coming out of that shade and touch up the connection later. I personally don't believe that's worth it. There's a good chance I will also say that this signature was done large and then was shrunken down. No, I wouldn't consider the start of the shade of a C to be a stopping point personally. It's still a smooth top of the C. There is also a very definite possibility that he did the whole thing with small shades, like just a little bit of shade, as if going through, this is, a lot of them I believe did this, but just to go through the entire thing sort of like this, and then came back in later and filled in those shades and made them look good, because then you don't have, like, anytime, if you stop up here, or you stop at this point, or you stop anywhere, we're gonna see it, because as fluid as they were, no matter how good they were, you can see those stopping points, pretty much like 99% of the time, always. So I believe if he cheated this signature, and it's very possible that he did, he likely did the whole thing in just hairline, and then kept going. There's a possibility, one place that he could have stopped, I'm gonna try to do it here, possibly would be here. Obviously he stopped there, but he could, whoops, I meant to stop there. Technically he could have stopped there, dipped again, and then here. Well, no, it's cheating, but cheating doesn't mean bad. Cheating's not a bad thing. It's I call it cheating because it's clearly they could do this writing without doing that. So yes, clever technique is cheating. Technically, it's all the same thing. Using Photoshop to edit our images outside of camera, that's cheating. But it's a technique, it's photo editing. But I still call it cheating. But I don't think cheating is bad and wrong. I think I like when I see samples that you can tell were done without stopping and without doing the without the breaks. So for me, that's like the sought after. That's what I want. So anything that's not that, I call cheating. But again, I don't think cheating's bad in this instance. Good night, Georgette. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for trying to share the link earlier. I mean, honestly, Fuzzy, we all are. I don't think I know a single penman or calligrapher who's not a cheater. We all cheat. We all utilize vintage Photoshop. We all cheat. It's there's nothing wrong with cheating. It's like when, any painter that uses painter's tape or masking tape to mask an area. When I used to paint shoes, I didn't use tape because I liked having the lines and I liked the pride that I took in making the lines clean and straight without tape. So I called tape cheating. 99% of painters cheat. But it's not bad, it's a technique. But it's still cheating. In my opinion. Because it can be done. If it couldn't be done, if it was physically impossible to do it without cheating, then it wouldn't be cheating. Then it would be just the technique that you required the cheat. But it's cheating. Because Canan was capable. He was physically capable of doing this signature without... probably not every time. Yeah, it's a hack. There we go. It's hacks. Hey, Mom. Good evening. Celtic mandala. Fun. We're very forgettable, so that's alright. Alright. I keep running out of movement, so I'm gonna start with my forearm a little bit more to the right. Let's see if that helps. Ugh, ugly C's on that one, but the movement was okay. There's also the possibility we could take the whole thing whole arm. If we want to do it big, I could raise the forearm entirely. Raise my chair just a smidge. There's a good chance that a lot of these, like this signature, this is one of those ones that's almost, I didn't really realize until I just did it. I feel like it's almost kind of easier with whole arm movement with my forearm off the table. Yeah, unfortunately, there were videos that were made that were sold to schools. They were reels that existed. Is there one that's rotting in the basement of some university or some archive somewhere? Yeah, possibly, or some private collection, but no. I think the oldest video we have, which in my personal opinion doesn't really count, would be like Del Tisdale. But ornamental penmanship wasn't like his super forte, doing the fast movement clean and whatnot. So yeah, we basically have nothing. You read all of them! I am proud of you, Fozzie. I'm surprised. And how did you feel? Ooh, David, that's a good question. Some cheating lines that I don't cross. Anything like the straight? Let's see. Cheating lines that I don't cross. So, I guess it's not a line that I don't cross, but when it comes to like things that we cheat, like one thing that I call a cheat that a lot of people probably wouldn't, is like the flat top tees. Like when people will just do shades and then go back later and make them flat. That's going back later. Sorry, I'm zoomed quite out today. But going back and like fixing those shades, that's kind of like a cheat. And if I do one and it doesn't look good, I'll go back and fix it. But it is so easy to do a flat top tee. Whoa, my lines are really crooked. But it's so easy to do a flat top tee. That's such a silly cheat to me. I feel like it's easier just to do it in one go. I don't see the point in drawing a shade when you don't have to. You can just write it. What are other cheats? Cheats that I don't cross, or the lines that I don't cross. I remember a long time ago when I first started, I guess when I was still doing slow writing, but was just getting into movement writing. Oh, blob on my nip, what's that? I do remember like going into something like a lowercase t. Like, you know how we'll do an undercurve. We lift, we go up here, we shade, we come down, and then we finish the letter. I always liked to do my undercurve and my upstroke without lifting. I liked doing all the way up, shading down and out. So I would take out that one step. That's not something I do anymore. I do it what we would call the right way now, but I definitely used to do that, and I felt like this was cheating, but now I do it. I don't know, I can't think of any others. I gotta sort of like do them. Oh, Peter, sorry if I missed your message. Enjoy hanging out with your lonely wife. That's an enjoyable thing to do though, so have a pleasant evening. Thank you for hanging out. You needed to send it to some folks so you could rant about it, Fozzie? That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people, even like, I feel like accomplished, good, rapid ornamental penmen who like retouch every single T, and it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I definitely do that, David. If I, in fact, I did it today for some handouts that I was working on. I did the title and I scanned it, and when I put it in the computer, there was a gap in the middle where the spacing didn't feel quite as good as it could have been. I tweaked it. And is that cheating? 100% that's cheating. 1000%. Do I do it? Yes. For certain work. I mean, obviously, if I'm doing that's why I like doing things that are written, because everything, like when I do names and stuff, or when we did when I joined in Night with the Masters at Iampith, what came out of the pen was just what came out of my pen that day. There was some really nice signatures, there was some not so nice signatures. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I like standing by the work that I do. But if I'm doing something that has to be scanned and has to be like put into a printed handout or something, if the opportunity is there, I'm a Photoshop kid. If I can tweak it, I'm gonna tweak it. I have no hang-ups tweaking something. Unless I was gonna be like posting it and showing like, this is this is an untweaked straight from the pen, then I'm a liar, and that's absolutely unacceptable. There are people that do that, unfortunately. That's cheating. Or posting like back before, like, movement writing wasn't super as common as it is now, and people would post videos that were sped up, saying they weren't sped up because they wanted to look like movement writers. That's cheating, but that's bad cheating. That's lying. There's cheating and there's lying. Cheating is a technique, lying is bad. Oh, you'll actually go and get a physical piece and do the hard... Wow. See, I just use Photoshop. I'm bad at that. I cheat with that one. It does feel fraudulent. I don't disagree with you there, David. But I definitely do it. I'm gonna think though. The mentality behind it. I think the mentality behind it though, I don't tweak things that I can't physically do. And this is like I'll talk about vintage specimens and the old penmen like this as well. Like with Canan, was this signature made like 6 inches or bigger and then shrunken down for printing and whatnot? Was it done slowly and whatnot? Probably. Maybe. Was it? I don't know. It's impossible to tell because this was a printed plate. If we had the original, then we could definitely tell. We could look at it. But Canan and the majority of the old penmen could do this out of the pen. There were penmen that could do it. So if you do something on, or I'll speak for myself in particular, if I do something on paper that I know I can physically do, but that instance of doing it, there was a slight issue with like a spacing or a something, fixing it, I don't feel, I guess, fraudulent fixing it as much because I know that it is something I can execute and probably have executed in the past. But in this instance, it's not perfect. Usually when I'm scanning things and putting things into the computer, it's if I'm in a position where I'm gonna be fixing something, I'm usually on a deadline, like right now, doing handouts or things like that. I'm behind schedule, so I have to get it done. So Photoshop, I will fix it because I know I can get the spacing right. I just, in this instance, didn't, so I don't feel bad. That being said, that kind of plays into... That's really, really hard to do with ornamental penmanship. You can't really tweak ornamental penmanship as far as, like, you can do word spacing for lowercase and stuff, I guess. I've never done that for lowercase. I've pieced together, like, a title of something. I'll admit, right here, right now, I'll let everybody know, in my class, the Art of Movement Writing, the title for that class was written in pieces that were then photoshopped in, because I was going quick and there was a lot of pressure, and I like to get the exact the way I wanted it, and art and of the exact the way I wanted it. I think the art of was definitely one piece, and then movement writing was one thing, but it's definitely pieced together. I've done it, I've written those words many times, but in that specific one that was going in my handouts, it's pieced together. And I don't feel bad about that. Would it be cooler if it wasn't pieced together? Yes, obviously, just like when we do a full alphabet or something like that. Is it cooler that the old penman did the off the cuff full alphabets? I think that's way cooler than when they glued them up or replaced words and glued up for the scans, but sometimes you just gotta get it done. It's usually if there's a time crunch, because most of the challenges in writing, I just want to be able to do it in writing, so I'll do sort of what you said, where you'll just, if you see a mistake, you just write the whole thing again, which is like with signatures. If I mess up a signature, you just gotta do it again. I'd never tweak a signature in Photoshop, because you can't really. There's too many fluid lines everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Intention and integrity. I agree. That's the goal. Someday we can get there. Yeah, most of them did that when it comes to the cut and pasting for a lot of stuff. But then when you go through some scrapbooks that weren't things that were made for print, they executed incredible work that is very clearly not cut and pasted. So it's sort of like they cheated because they knew they could do it anyways, but the pressure's really high, so they just cheated, I guess. Maybe. I don't know them, so I can't speak to what they say. Oh, I don't get nearly far enough in this one, because my A is supposed to be being bisected by that little hairline there, but that's too close. Alright, we're gonna try this exit flourish with whole arm movement. Take another step at this horizontal shade. Oh, I didn't make it long enough. And then I did a wrong angle. That's terrible. Good night, Eric. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, I messed it all up. I don't feel like this is as hard as I thought it was going to be, this little shade there. I still dip down too much. He doesn't dip down at all. Straight horizontal. There's a fly that I feel like got my gouache on his feet, and I think he's now stuck. Sorry, little fly. I don't think you're the only one there. I know some people think of it as a heart, and other people think of it as Mickey Mouse ears. Because I've done like exit flourishes based off of this one, where like if you're coming out of an N, and you could do something like, that's not what I did, but other hearts. What would I do? It would come out. Now I can't remember what I would do. That way. I would do that, I guess, coming out of an N. Doing things like that. It's kind of a heart, kind of Mickey Mouse, more Mickey Mouse than heart. I think it's Chin mentioned online when I posted it. She sees it as a heart. It's romantic. Okay, let's do that exit shade. Horizontal now. Shorter. It's so hard to not dip down. I mean, he dips down a little bit, but not much. I need to smooth that out. I have the hardest time with this shade in general. The placement of the shade happens so fast. To make sure the shade isn't here or here, so hard for me. Too long still. Just too close to my desk. Hello, Gaganpreet. Welcome. Enjoy your classes. We'll see you soon. Have a good night or day. That's the idea. That's pretty darn close. The shade isn't as big. There's that. Eh? 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 Pretty close. There is a bit on this one right here, though, that makes me feel, again, it's print, so you can't tell, but I feel like he went in and tipped that shade afterwards. Like, if I were Canan, I would go back in and do a little bit of this. Just like so. Yeah, just tipped it in just a little bit. I guess if I was gonna do, you could do the bottom as well. I like to tip in from below the shade. I'll turn my paper upside down and then you do. I've messed up though the transition into hairline though, but yeah, something like that. You could have tipped in that shade like so. Quite possible. Did he? Probably, but we don't know. I like to imagine, even when you can clearly see that they did cheat or fake a shade, I like to imagine that they didn't. Why? Because I see no reason why we couldn't figure out how to do it. It's just harder. I want one of those tables with the... You want like a lazy Susan? So you can rotate the paper easy, you mean? See, that would bug me, I think. I don't like rotating the paper, personally. But many people do. And that's their prerogative. They might be right and I might be wrong. I don't. Another sheet of paper. Oh, check out what I got in the mail today. So, I don't know if I've talked about these pens before. So this is my favorite non-fountain pen. This is the Uniball 1. Is that what it is? Yes, it's the Uniball 1. But what's inside, this is not the Uniball 1 refill. The Uniball 1 is my favorite body pen. This is very satisfyingly springy and really fun to play with. Strong, substantial clip. It has a good click on it. And just the body is really nice. It's essentially what I would consider perfect for just a cheap, good, clicky pen. But I don't like the refills. I don't like the ink in the Uniball 1. My favorite ink is the finer. Here, I have them here. These are the Uniball Signo. I prefer. But the Uniball Signo comes in this really bright, plasticky, doesn't feel... It's not as substantial. It's less enjoyable to play with. But the Signo is incredible. And also this one comes in a 0.28 and the Uniball one does not. I think 0.38 or 3.5 is the smallest that the Uniball one comes in. And I like the finest lines ever, as you guys know. So I purchased the Uniball one, which happens to also fit the Uniball Signo refill. So I put it in there. But I go a step farther. So check this out. Yeah, Uniball Signo's right dope. I'm a very big fan of them. I used to like the High-Tech C's and the G-Tech C's and stuff, but I prefer the Uniball Signo. But So, the Uniball 1 comes in a black, the black is just solid black, and the pens themselves come in white bodies, the colored ink ones. So you can take the red thing on the end of the Uniball 1, and you can essentially break it off and replace it onto the black ones. So, what I got in the mail, because these are the colors that I've had these for years, or for a long time. These are the colors that the Uniball Signo 0.28 comes in. So, this is ridiculous. I have a problem. What came in the mail today, I haven't even opened the little plastic bag. What came in the mail was a whole bunch of black Uniball 1s. I gotta get my good Uniball 1 out of there. Whole bunch of black Uniball 1s. And then the white Uniball 1s that have the colors. So, the green Uniball Signo, basically, the ridiculous thing is I will take these 3 pens and make one pen that is perfect. It will be the black body with the green end and the green refill. And then same thing with the blue body, the blue refill, the black pen, and the blue end cap. And then for all of the colors, we got the purple, the baby blue, the light green, and the pink. And then what will I do with the white ones? Essentially at the end, I'll have a whole bunch of white Uniball Signos with black end caps from the black pens and black refills from the Uniball 1s, which I'll just give them to people, I guess. Yeah, the refill for the Uniball 1, essentially both of the refills, for the black one and the colored one, I don't have any interest in, because they're only 0.38, and that's not fine enough. So I'll give them away. Yeah, I won't throw them in the garbage. I'll give them away. Because they're perfectly usable pens. They just won't be they won't be colored like this. Red end cap, black pen, red Uniball Signo refill on the inside. It's perfect. I love it. You can't accept. I'm a fountain pen person, but this is just a great pen. And it writes incredibly fine. The 0.28 of the Uniball Signo is just great. So I always have, there's one of these in my backpack, one of these on my desk, the red one that I use for correcting when I'm doing homework for students and whatnot. I have a navy blue one, and now I will have all of these other colors eventually. Because I got... Oh, actually no, what I'll end up doing, all the black ones, any leftover black ones, so how many colors do we have? I don't remember how many I ordered. There should be one for each one of these colors. And then if there's any leftovers... Oh, maybe there's no leftovers. I can't believe how many pens I bought. This is ridiculous. Okay, so there's that many, and I have lots of extras. 1, 2... Okay, so I have four leftover black ones. I have a box in my drawer over here. I've never spoken publicly about this issue of mine. So I have... This is the UMR 82. That is the refill. That's the refill for the Uniball Signo in the in 0.28. So I will use these refills to put them in the leftover black ones, so they have the good 0.28. And then I don't know what I'll do with those refills. I'll give them to somebody. Why? Because it's a better pen. It's just a better pen. It's a good pen. And then this, why I wanted the colors, it's just ridiculous. I had these in my drawer, and I like using them, but I don't like the pen itself, so I wanted them to be in the pen that I like. So that'll be a job at some point this week. I'll put together all my ridiculous, cobbled together, colored pens. and then give away all the 0.38s, which I don't like. So there, that was me sharing my issue with you guys. I was really glad that the end caps were able to be changed over. I wasn't sure when I first ordered them if that was actually possible when I made my first black one. It just makes for a really, really good pen. See, and I will tell you, the Yog Saren, I will say, let's sheet of paper. Oh, I gotta reach for it. Where is my white paper? I have to say, this little, the 0.28 is such a fine point. And what I like a lot about it, compared to all of the black pens that I own, it is, well, my finger's dirty. It is waterproof. It's not a good example on this paper. And this ink has fountain pen ink, or this water has fountain pen ink in it. But I can write with this ink, and I can paint over top of it, and it works exactly like microns or like something else. That was a really bad example, because that just made it look like it didn't work. But trust me, it does. Better than a high-tech C. So when I don't want to bust out my isograph pens. Yeah, it's super fine. Like a dip pen? I mean, yes, a mapping dip pen is the finest you're gonna get. My personal favorite when I want really, really nice fine lines is this little guy, which legitimately is like a micron. The Rotring Isograph in the 0.13, not the 0.10, which you would assume, because mathematically that's the lower number, but the 0.13 is finer. You basically can't get finer than this with a nice thin line. The only thing that's going to go finer than this, even a mapping point, the main difference is going to be the opacity of the ink. This ink is solid black, versus with a mapping nib, you're going to get, I mean, the line won't be much thinner than this. But this is, the issue with these pens is you have to take very good care of them because they're expensive and they're really, really easy to break. But it's amazing. So that's the ultimate in controllable thickness, beautiful thin hairlines. The Rotring Isograph or Rapidograph 0.13. Obviously my ballpoint is not as fine as that, but it's not too shabby when I'm taking notes and whatnot. Because that's the size of my writing most of the time. So when I'm taking notes, this is what I use, or writing in a journal or something like that. I love it. And they're much easier. Like all of my fountain pens are also, they're all custom ground, and they have nicer, finer, awesome points on all of them, or all the ones I use, but I have to be careful with them. And a lot of times, I want something that's just no nonsense to write with, but also is super nice and fine and enjoyable to have. So, hence my little obsession with my with my Uniball one body Uniball Signo refill pens. Okay, so that's easily the best series of capitals we've done so far today. The worst part is just that this line doesn't keep going, but that's okay. Ooh, not a very good A there, Mike. Yes. In a perfect, I'm pretty sure what Canan was shooting for was for all of these to be at the same height. Obviously, this one's a little higher, this one's a little lower. These two are pretty much the same. This one's slightly higher, but if I could put myself in Canan's brain, I would assume that he would want them to be close to the same. Yeah, I use only Rotring ink in my isographs. Where is it? Right here. That's the ink I use in my isograph. Bottle of Rotring refill ink. It's a lot. I don't go through nearly that much ink. It will probably go bad before I use it all. I assume it will go bad at some point, but that's what I use. Oh, went too big. Darn it. I'm gonna turn my paper a little bit for this straight line. Add this little dip in there. Get this. Didn't make that nearly as long as I wanted to. Or as large, but that's okay. Not a bad attempt. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but not bad. Ah, yeah. I wish the Rotring white was a little more opaque. Because I would love to have a dedicated white isograph. But I feel like the white ink is just not super good. It's not bad, really, but... Okay, my first oval is definitely too round. I'm also noticing, I've done this pretty much every time, this cross is almost always on the outside versus on the inside. Taking this oval too long. My shades are also too long. They're not Canan-esque enough. I'll add the little dots. Yeah, it's not super white, unfortunately, which, I mean, white ink, has to be a little thicker, so it has trouble going through an isograph. I don't know if I would get white ink even through 0.13 because it's so fine. Probably clog up very easily. I actually have never used a Signal white. I can fill the white bodies with white ink. It won't be as fine, but that's fine. I need to get some Signal white. I'm assuming the refills would be the same size. Okay, let's make the forms rounder. That's the wrong C entirely. Signal white is butter. All right. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I'll see what I can find. I don't know if I feel like I haven't seen it before. And Signal ones are pretty opaque? How thick is it? It must be pretty thick. Okay, I keep forgetting to make my shade short. Gotta make my shades short. It's a little better. The main reason I want the Signal is because I'm wanting it to fit in this pen. I feel like I have jelly rollers. I don't know if I've ever used the Signal. I think I have jelly rollers though. I believe. Ooh! That was decent. Again, not perfect, but decent. We're not crossing at that point right there though. Crossing up there, which means we have to cut our second one off a little bit sooner. So we're getting that type of a look instead. That's crossing at the right spot. This still could go a little bit lower, so that's happening there. All in all, not too shabby. We're getting there. In the first C, if you look closely, the difference between the shade and the descending hairline should be quite large. Oh yes, you are not wrong. That's why, I mean, that's why this has to be lower. It's not where the shade goes that's the issue. It's where this line goes that's the issue. This line was down there. You'd have much more shape there. This would be able to go a little bit lower and get closer to the baseline so that this can cut a little bit lower like it's supposed to. For sure. Do they use a lid, or are they... Oh, I guess if I'm using... If they're in these, they just dry up, wouldn't they? Because they wouldn't actually be closing, they'd just be going in the body. So maybe the white signal won't work in there. If they dry up. They probably need a cap. Too far away. Too much distance. Not bad though. I think this has to come here, so this one's a little bit shorter. Bummer. Okay. So my clicky white signal idea will not work, unfortunately. Sad face. I might try it anyways, though. The refill might not even fit. Probably won't. Not bad. Not perfect, but not bad. We slowed down quite a bit. We gotta speed back up. Ooh! My bottom ovals are totally in the wrong. They're not flat here at all. This one's too low. But this also doesn't come quite low enough to give me space in there. But that might be the best one so far. Potentially. That crossed on the inside, which is a bonus. That's what we were trying for. Oops. Oh, I'm gonna cut through it because it went too low. Or I could go underneath it, I guess, but it's gonna be... No, I can't. It has to go through. Yeah. Meshed it up. That was a good sequence of shades, though. Quite happy with that one. Second shade was a little long. But it's getting closer. Dialing it in. Dialing it in. I should give myself a baseline again now that we're getting closer. Better. Too high here. But that's another good one. Didn't make that line long enough. Getting better. Getting better. Sweet. Thank you, Marilyn. I will have a plethora of Uniball 1 bodies that are white. Uniball 1 white bodies that I have no use for. So if I could fill one with white ink, that'd be cool. I could also, I have the black ink. I could just, that will just have the black 0.38 millimeter ones, and I'll just give them away to people, I guess. Because they're a nice pen. The clip, it just feels like an expensive, good pen that's still like a cheap pen. Doesn't feel like a crazy expensive pen, but it feels like a decent pen. This little one? Yeah, so they're not connected. His actually have, and I don't know if he does these on the fly. I would have to come back here and add them in afterwards. They do have little things like this on them. I made that one a little. Like so. And then this needs a bigger shade. It's possible to do that shade in one, but I haven't been hitting it today. And then it finishes in a diamond because he does the... Oh, sorry, I was out of frame when I tipped that in. I like that it has the diamond. You've probably seen that in some examples of like shaded lowercase p's. When they move on the lift, they get that. The diamond exit stroke. I feel like sometimes the diamond was intentional. I feel like other times it was just a failed attempt at squaring it off. Mataraz had a habit of, so this diamond, you can see these are going in that direction, pointing the direction of the stroke. Mataraz had a habit sometimes of this line right here would be flat on the horizontal, so the whole thing would come down. You would have a shade. Then it would go up and then in. So like that's the shade that he would use in his Batwing script a lot of times. It closes like a diamond, but it's flat there, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, when I was studying and analyzing his Batwing. Oh, I just realized my magnetic stirrer stopped. Why? I noticed my ink, the stir was still working, but my ink stopped stirring. Why? All right. There, it's back now. It was still going, just the little magnet. The magnet just sometimes gets going too fast and it spins itself off the center. It just needs to chill out a little bit. It has too much juice. Nope, not the one. Oh, I did that really close to my body. The cool thing is, the failed attempts are still decent attempts right now. Not perfect, obviously, but they're decent. Sorry about that. I don't usually write that close to my body. That was weird. Nope. Wonky ovals. Ooh, ugly C on the end there. But that's okay. Not a big enough oval on the exit stroke. Be better if the baseline was down here. But not great. In the way, because this has to go all the way to there. It's a big signature. I'm writing it very large. Ugh. Not worth keeping going. I think my arm's getting tired. There's a lot of things to think about to get all of the things that Canan did right. You gotta think about a lot of stuff. Alright, Marilyn, sweet dreams. Have a good night. Sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. keep getting a nib snap in that same spot. Or a nib. Doesn't fully snap, but... Yeah, they're all based on... I mean, they're horizontal ovals. Take a couple more swings at this one, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. Yeah, I know. You're talking about the exit ovals, correct? I'm assuming? Which are horizontal exit ovals. So yeah, they are guaranteed should be horizontal in his writing. Which would make them parallel to the baseline. Bisecting the baseline, technically. Oh, too long. Way too spaced out on that last C. My first oval is always fairly wonky, unfortunately. This last one wasn't. But starting that one smoothly is something that gives me trouble from time to time. Giving up by the time I get to that last exit oval, because things aren't perfect before it. Granted, if we're being honest, Canan's last exit oval is not perfect either. It's a little wonky in shape, if we're being honest. It's an unfinished tail, but it's in the front. It's a front unfinished tail. Oh no, not that one again. That's not what we want to do. That's all kinds of wrong. That's also the wrong C. Nope. But I think that's it for me. I think that... Where is it? That's probably the best... No, not that one. Where is it in frame? That's probably the best attempt today. Of the evening, I would guess. The horizontal oval's kind of weird. Shade is a little up high on the compound curve, but it's probably one of the better ones. I feel like we had a few decent attempts. I'm gonna try tomorrow to film the actual attempt, and we'll do the whole slow motion and all that jazz. I'll try to get it from a couple different angles because people like that. Not just the Instagram angles. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, far from perfect. We had this nib snap. This oval is weird. I wish this connective oval was more like this connective oval, but I wish this entry stroke of the second C was more like this entry stroke of the second C. It's a non-perfect example, but it's coming. Can't be mad at that. It's a pretty fun signature. I look forward to doing some of the more wonky ones of Canan's as well. Yep. He was very good. We also have to remember that this was his signature, so he would have written this many, many, many times. Probably not always with the ending little flourishes, but he was very precise. And his work, you can always tell Canan's work, because it always looks like Canan's work. Because of his more round rather than ovoid ovals that he used. I'm excited, because this whole, we're going to do like August and September, I think. We're going to do all Canan signatures. So, we'll get some fun ones. Yes, I will do the one with the H. Fozzie, I'll do the one you posted on the Discord for sure. I mean, luckily, I have a lot of favorite signatures of his, but if we're doing August and September, we got lots of time. There's lots of signatures. We got at least, we can do 8, 7, because I missed last week. I missed the first week of August. Oops. I woke up on Monday morning and realized on Sunday I didn't post it. And I thought, should I post one on Monday? I could post one on Monday, but then it's not really Sig's thing in Sunday, so I didn't. But that's it. We're gonna call that a night. I have a little bit more work to do before I go to bed, so I cannot stay on here super late tonight. I'm gonna be finished with this signature tonight. I'm gonna revisit it tomorrow to get the recording of it, hopefully, so long as I can get a passing recording. I'll probably do it. Will I do it on white paper or black paper? Not sure. Anyways, before you go, did you make the pen case? Did I make the pen case that I showed earlier? Oh, the one that was up there? The box? Yeah. It was actually... What was that box? It was like a little cheap wooden thing from an art store. Like it had little dividers in it for... I don't know if it was originally for pastel... for pastels? But it was just like a thin little storage art box. So I took all the little separators out, put hinges on it, and then leather wrapped it. 'Cause why not? Well, and then I bought... It actually has 3 different foams in there. There's a base dense foam, a thin strip of it that sits at the very bottom. And then there's a thicker piece of foam that it was purchased so it was the exact thickness of the inside of the case. And then there's that same piece on the other side. And then carved into the thick piece on the bottom, the shape for the pens. or I guess not carved, I technically burnt those. I did them outside because of fumes and whatnot, and yeah, used a wood burner and burnt that shape inside. Because where the tails are, like where the tails of the pen go, that's not fully cut all the way through the foam. It's just like carved into the foam. So the tail has something to rest on as well. Yeah, I made that a while ago. But the original plan was to have it top and bottom, pens on both sides. But the way the orientation works, yeah, I need to redo the foam, I think. So I gotta redo that design, that little box. And I never ended up stitching the corners of the leather. I was lazy and I never finished that. So the whole thing technically is unfinished. I didn't use a utility knife, I burnt it. So I used a wood burning tool, the same tool that I use for foiling, like so. But I made a custom tip, so these are my foiling tips. I made a tip that was just a long, thin piece that went out and in, so I could use it like a hot knife. And then I just carved into the foam, carved the tail, and then cut out the circle. But yeah, it's all burnt. I didn't use a knife. Yeah, essentially like a soldering iron. There we go. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, everybody. Today, that was fun. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. Don't forget to fall in love, or be sure. Whoa, I haven't done my whole ending in a while. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process, and don't forget, everybody, that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. And of course, it's not the end of a stream without Oja Swinny saying, "What? Already?" So there's that, so we can officially finish. Bye-bye, everybody.